Hi. You are so ready to become the best version of yourself. You are right now at the point in your life where you're done making excuses and you're really going to show up for yourself. This video found you for that reason. So, I want to start with saying that this is something that a lot of people struggle with. People want to change, they want to evolve, they want to become a different person, they want to implement certain habits, certain behaviors. What happens is they rely on motivation only. And because of the fact that you're relying on motivation, you are probably gonna be extremely confident and you're gonna do it for a couple of days, weeks, and then eventually you will fall off. If you're only gonna rely on motivation, you will not get there, okay? Because motivation ebbs and flows, it comes and it goes. And with that being said, it means that the other way that you're really gonna see results is if you stay consistent and if you are disciplined. And I know that some people say, like, I am not a disciplined person. I don't know how I can do this. Everybody is capable of being disciplined. The fact that you hear people say, I'm not disciplined, means that those people are actually not ready to make the shift, to make the change. People are not honest with themselves and they don't take accountability for the fact that they are not ready yet. And this is why they're saying that they're not disciplined. Because eventually, routine is something that you can learn, it's something that you can do, it's something that you can implement every day and not think about it, not do it because you're relying on motivation. You're doing it because this is who you are from now on. So I want to elaborate a little bit more on that. Your self identity. This is why you're probably feeling stuck. It is important for you to look at yourself and really take a step back and really look at yourself and envision yourself, even if you have to write it down, meditate on it, it doesn't matter. Who would you like to be in the future? Who would you like to become? How do you move in life? What do you look like? What is your day to day routine like? You really have to envision this into your mind for you to actually succeed. Because if you don't see it, you cannot grasp it and you cannot act on it. Once you have your self identity corrected and you know who you are, what you would like to become, you're going to act on it. So, I'm going to give you an example from myself. I used to be overweight. A couple of years ago, I was extremely overweight and I lost over 25 kg. And the thing that I had is I sat down with myself and I said to myself, I'm not gonna go further. I don't feel like myself. I don't feel good in my body and my own skin. This is not who I am. It doesn't feel like that this is who I am. So what I did is I really envisioned myself and I really sat down with myself. I took the time, and this can be harsh because it can be confrontational, but you have to do it. You need to look at yourself. You need to look at the certain patterns and behaviors that you have right now that are not serving you anymore. Those patterns and behaviors, you need to get rid of those. So I looked at myself in the mirror. I said, okay, this is not who I am. How do I envision myself? I envision myself as being somebody that loves to be active, that is healthy. Somebody that lost weight, is losing weight, is somebody that is active, right? That eats healthy, that makes working out part of her day to day routine. This is what I mean by really you have to envision who you would like to become. So, what I did from that moment on, when I made that shift and I saw myself as that person, I became that person, which meant that every day I did what I had to do. That is getting my steps in, eating healthy, going to the gym, like doing all of those things to become that person. And right now, I am that person. Like, it's at the beginning, it feels harsh, it feels unnatural. And this is also something that I don't really hear a lot of people talk about is the fact that you need to grieve your old version of yourself. And this is what is something that comes along in this journey is grief of your old self. What we always hear is, okay, let's go for it, let's do it, this and that, and just move forward. But the thing that also keeps people stuck is not taking the time to really grieve and understand that the life that you had, you're gonna get rid of that, you're gonna let go of that. Because if you don't do that, you are somebody that's gonna self sabotage yourself. You're gonna be somebody that's gonna stick with old patterns and old belief systems and old behaviors that are not serving you anymore. That is something that happens if you don't take the time to grieve your old life. That comes with a lot of emotions. Not every day is going to be amazing and nice. There are days where you're going to feel defeated. Doesn't matter what your type of goal is, right? If you want to do something, maybe something extra with work, or like I said, something like implementing a certain routine towards working out or losing weight or whatever, like it takes time and it's not going to be fun every day. But one thing I really want to emphasize on is discipline is where it's at. Consistency is where it's at. If you show up for yourself every day, okay, and you're doing it and you're not relying on motivation, you're just doing it because it's part of who you are now. Trust me that it is going to be inevitable that you will win in life. It's going to be inevitable because eventually, after being consistent every day, after showing the discipline, you will win. It will work out. If you are, for example, like what I did with my weight loss, right? Every day I was consistent in eating in a calorie deficit, with like working out, like taking my steps in, all of those type of things. Eventually it worked out. Like it's inevitable that it's going to happen because if you put in work every day, you will see those results. What I also want to talk about is that you should not feel overwhelmed. We are not going to put too much pressure on ourselves. What do I mean by this? You need to focus on a couple of things at a time, not everything all at once, because that will set you up for failure. There are different seasons in your life. There are seasons for everything. We should not ask from ourselves to change 10 different things all at the same time. It's not going to work. So, where do you want to put your focus on at the season that you're in right now? So, for example, if you want to start a business and you also want to start going to the gym like you and you've never done this before, and you also want to do this and you also want to do that, and like it's going to be too much. It will lead to burnout, it will lead to you being overwhelmed, it will lead to you not being consistent, not being disciplined. You need to focus on a couple of things or one thing at a time. Use your discernment with this. You know exactly what kind of things you can mix and match and what kind of things you need to take times for, or different quarters of the year, a couple of months, or so in that way you can build towards one thing at a time or a couple of things at a time. And if you put the focus on that, if you shift your identity, you can implement later something new. So what you're going to do is you're going to build yourself up step by step. Okay, implementing this. Okay, you really want to focus on your health, your mental health. Maybe you want to start with meditating every day, for 15 minutes, or praying or whatever. You're going to start with that. Okay, meditation, prayer. Once after a month or after a couple of weeks, when it's part of your routine, you can add something else. Maybe journaling, or doing mental health walks, or stuff like that. Because this is very important for you to hear. Once something is part of your routine, it is going to be part of your routine. It's inevitable that you're going to do it. So it's the same as you waking up every day, showering, getting ready, like driving. Those are all very automatic things. Those are things that you do every day. It's part of your system. So those things that you try to learn, those things that you're implementing, those better behaviors and patterns that you're implementing according to your own self identity, those will be part of you. It's part of your day to day. So that means that it's implemented. It doesn't feel like a chore anymore. At the beginning, it probably feels as a chore. It feels as something you have to do. It feels maybe at the beginning as something that you don't want to do. But trust me, it is hard for a couple of weeks, and after that, it will become part of you. it will become part of you. It will become easy. You won't think about it anymore. You will just do it and show up for yourself. Another thing that I want to talk about is preparation. Prep yourself for success. What I mean by this is the following. If you, for example, want to eat healthier, make your own meals, maybe take 1 or 2 days out of the week where you have time for yourself to meal prep certain things. Or like take a time in your week where you're going to do all healthy groceries. Make sure that you grab those healthy things with you every day to your day-to-day life that you have prepared already in the fridge. Like, that's just one example, okay? How to prep for success. You can implement this on every goal that you have. If you want to be more productive in the mornings, let's say something like that, just get rid of your phone. Put your phone on D&D, put it in the kitchen, and put your focus on what you need to do. These are little hacks that will help you to become that better person. These are little hacks that will help you to really stick to the goals that you set for yourself. So another thing that I want to talk about is that this will probably feel a little bit boring. But boredom is where it's at. And I will elaborate a little bit more on this. You doing the same things every day is part of your identity. It's part of your life now. It can feel a little bit boring at the beginning, but it feels boring because you're probably feeling like you're sacrificing yourself, because maybe you're sacrificing once you want to eat healthy, going out for dinners with people and all of these things. You're sacrificing yourself. That's how you feel maybe. But you need to keep in mind, who is the person that I envisioned in my mind? How does their day-to-day look like? People that are successful, people that care about their health, people that care about their bodies. They're living a very predictable and boring lives, because that is just what it is. It can feel a bit repetitive, right? But trust me, the fun thing of it all is eventually you will come to a certain place where you feel that the predictability of it all, the structure of it all, the routine of it all keeps you thriving and makes you the best person that you can possibly be. And once it is part of your identity, trust me, nothing can come between it. Nothing can get rid of it. You are so ready to shift. You are so ready. And I am proud of you. I'm rooting for you. And if you like this video, feel free to comment, subscribe, or like. And I'll see you next time.